of the Neutral News Network. I'm Brian alongside Jake and Zach as well. And today we are going to have a bit of a unique episode for y'all. Typically, we do try and keep it as neutral and unbiased as possible. But we are going to be having a personal based ranking system that Jake and I are going to do, and Zach is going to kind of help moderate and move stuff around as needed. Um, but we're going over the executive orders that the president, Donald Trump, has signed so far since he's been in office. We won't have a total, completely comprehensive list as he's signed some today that we might not have in our list. But we just wanted to preface this by saying that this one might be a little bit more biased. But we are going into this blind. We didn't do any, earlier research on this. We're just kind of giving this like what's our gut reaction? How do we feel about this? Just like right off the bat and basically we're going S through F tier with a question mark tier at the very bottom just to kind of signify like, we don't quite know what we think about this. So with that being said, um, we're going to do it this way. So S tier is obviously the best tier. F tier is obviously the worst, and we're kind of doing it this way. So S tier is something that we think is super beneficial and super impactful. F tier is something that is super impactful and not very beneficial or actively bad in our opinion. Um, C tier, B tier, D tier, that's all kind of like for the, it might not be that beneficial, but it might be kind of good and kind of impactful. So it's just that's going to be kind of the middle ground where that's going to start to blend together. But that's how we're going to do this ranking. And again, it's going to be slightly more opinion based. But yeah, Jake, any comments? Anything you want to add before this?
No,
And I'll let Zachary
you
speak.
you got it all. Yeah, you summed it up.
Perfect.
I'm excited
Zachary,
to
anything
get
you want to
started.
clarify? Likewise. We'll see how long this episode goes to. I don't know if we'll be able to get through all of it, but we'll
Yeah.
find out.
Yeah. Nope. I'm ready to ready to get her going.
All right. So, I believe we are starting with ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity, which that is the president effectively getting rid of DEI or DEIA programs, which DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. DEIA is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility. Um, so, just slight preface: the president believes that a lot of these policies that are supposed to include and provide diversity, equity, and inclusion are actually doing the opposite. So that's why he's come in and he is um, passing the executive order to get rid of these programs. And if I remember correctly, some of these individuals were sent home today on paid leave if that was their job at the federal government. So, um, yeah. Jake, do you want to kick us off here with how, what's
Me,
your what's your
this
gut
is a
reaction
this
here?
is a this is a wild one to get started on.
It is. This is yeah. This and this one's made a lot of news. So I actually did know about this one prior, but I hadn't done any like active research on it.
Yeah, I
So
haven't really looked into it a whole lot.
what's
No,
your gut
okay.
take?
My gut take is my gut take is that he believes that a lot of this is happening. Um, like that people are.
They're
It's kind
they're
of
they're only getting the job
job
because
because
they
of
are of a certain
certain.
race, gender, or
Right,
ethnicity.
right,
Yeah. So
right.
and I agree. I think it's
I
his common
think,
statement.
yeah, and I think while that may or may not be true, I don't think the thought is terrible. I just don't think the signing into executive order is the way to go about it.
Right. And if I don't want to put words in your mouth, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm
Mhm.
thinking you're saying it's just like the process behind like, the best person should get the job. That's a great way to think about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's how. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I think that, and this is kind of me giving my opinionated thought. I think if
Mhm,
that's what it was truly trying to do and there were systems in place to do it,
mhm.
you could put this in like a B tier, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I think in its current state, it's D, because people are actively losing their jobs because you just signed an executive order and
I was
got
gonna
rid of
say
it. You didn't put anything. You didn't put any like contingency plan in for it, and
I would
it
almost
is.
lean towards F, but yeah, just
Yeah,
because
and that's
it's people are losing their jobs and
but and I'm gonna give a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give a benefit of the doubt and keep it in D that it could lead to, just like people still getting the jobs that need to get the jobs, and maybe it kind of gets rid of some of the, I don't know, the more of the bureaucracy to it. Um, but that's just me giving it the benefit of the doubt. But I would rank this a D, mostly because, like I said, people are losing their jobs. You agree, people are losing their jobs,
yep.
and it opens up a lot of gray areas because yes, there is still like they cite the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but obviously we know that hasn't stopped discrimination in the workforce. So this was built to try and prevent that. So I think if it's pulled off well and they can find other ways to make sure that people aren't being discriminated against and find something to replace it with, I think it'll be okay. But
Mm.
if they don't, then yes, solidly in the F tier. But I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, and maybe something will come about it, and it could stay in the D tier.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that.
But
I can get behind that.
yep. And remember, we've got our separate rankings. So if you want to keep it in F, keep it in F. No big deal. Um,
You
I
can
say
put
we
it
move
lower than
on.
F. Put it lower
there,
than
there,
F if you want.
there, oh,
That's a,
oh. we only have F, Jake. We can't put it lower.
Well,
We've got
oh,
the question
you can
mark.
give it the
wait,
old
what's
question mark.
yeah, the question
Yeah.
mark.
Excuse me. All right, so we'll go into keeping Americans safe in aviation. That's the next one. Um, so this one looks like it's talking about more discrimination and DEI hiring. So they really seem to be doubling down on the DEI stuff. Um, I'm trying to see here. Every day, the FAA within the U.S. Department of Transportation oversees safety of more than 45,000 flights. Da, 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 da. So let's see.
And when you hear DEI, that is not just based on race.
Correct.
That is like
Like I think I mean it's race, ethnicity,
sex,
gender,
gender,
religion.
yeah.
Yep,
Hmm.
it's all of that. Um, what are we- so I think this including all dangerous preferencing policy or practice shall immediately be rescinded in favor of hiring, promoting, and otherwise treating. So it's like it's the same thing here. Same thing. It's kind of a D/F for me here. It's literally the exact same thing, except instead of like the overall federal government itself writ large, this is solely for the FAA. So like I'd be I think that this is arguably more impactful because there's more safety at risk, and
Hmm.
I just don't think there's a need to shake this up, especially with the FAA. And I think it's kind of built on false pretenses that there's just people who aren't qualified to become pilots getting the job. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of hours and time you have to put into becoming a pilot in this country is insane. So I think that this is really pointless and not needed. So I'd put it in an F.
F. Yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah, it's
Cole,
just like you don't need to do it.
Cole
Like, why
said
are
I
we doing
think
this?
that's Elon talking.
You're absolutely right. I would agree. I think he's got his hands in the cookie jar on this. But uh, who knows? Okay. So, all right. We'll go to guaranteeing the state's protection against the invasion, or sorry, against invasion. Uh, As a central feature of any sovereign nation to exist territorial boundaries. Da, 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 da. Supreme Court has recognized the inherent law and duty of the executive branch to defend our national sovereignty. Oh, this is a long one. Federal officials not have the ability to verify with certainty that criminal. Okay. So it looks like he's trying to advocate for more screening at the board. And Congress has. So talking about more screening, talking about security concerns outside the United States, not permitted to enter the United States until they establish they are eligible to be admitted under the law, due to significant information gaps. So, same issue is true for public health. I agree. Yep. So Also, I just want to throw out something interesting. When reading this, Donald Trump multiple times in the campaign trail said there were eh, sometimes 20 million or more immigrants that had crossed illegally. In this document, they're saying over the past 4 years, 8 million illegal aliens were encountered along the southern border. So, yeah. So go on. I mean, this is so. It seems like he's trying to conflate the invasion of illegal immigrants, in his words, to an invasion of a foreign territory, because they go back to the Civil War's declaration, like of the states joining the Union, and the federal government promised to protect them against invasion. Like, so it's very interesting that
That is
they're
interesting, that
kind of,
rationale.
yeah. Um, Hereby direct as follows. Okay, suspension of entry pursuant to Section 12F. Entry into the United States on or after the date of this order of aliens engaged in the invasion across the southern border is detrimental to the United States. I therefore direct that entry in the United States of such aliens be suspended until I issue a finding that the invasion at the southern border has ceased. Okay, that's a nothing. He's saying don't enter, even though I can almost guarantee you every single illegal alien who has crossed the southern border is not going to read this page that we are on right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, if
Why
if they
would
do,
they?
I will be stunned. Right. Uh, imposition of restrictions on entry for aliens invading the United States. So this one goes into health. Under the authorities' primary, I suspend the physical entry of any alien engaged
What
in the
is this
invasion.
one called?
Um,
I'm trying to.
Guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall take all appropriate action to repel, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in the invasion across the southern on or after the date. So okay, can I just like be devil's advocate here? Actually, I don't even know if devil's advocate's the right term, but like he said southern border for every single one of these things. So what if they come in through Canada? Is that fine?
Right.
Is that fine? Like, because I mean, just to throw it out there, there was an officer that was shot in Vermont just the other day, a border patrol officer. That wasn't that Vermont's not close to Mexico. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
So, right,
Not even near close.
yeah. I mean,
If you don't know your geography.
right, and and this order does nothing. I am gonna
It's
put it
bit
in.
a
I'm
like.
I'm gonna
What would you
put it in
say?
the D tier just because
Okay.
like it's less impactful. I think it's dumb, but it's not an F because it's not like that detrimental. But it's not doing anything different. It's just basically saying you can't enter the United States. Well, they
So
don't care. They don't care.
they don't care. Yeah. Yeah. They're gonna. They couldn't
They're gonna
before.
right. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there's nothing in here that's stating the opposite. Like operational actions to repeal. Like so, Section 5. If you want to find that, Zachary, it's down close to the bottom. It says the Secretary of Homeland Security, in coordination with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General, shall take all appropriate action to repel, repatriate, or remove any alien engaged in the invasion across the southern border of the United States on or after the date of this order, whether
Weren't
an
they doing
exercise
that before?
right or yeah,
Right.
until I issue a finding that the invasion at the southern border has ceased. Like it does nothing. It does nothing.
No, it just it's basically saying you better do your job and keep illegal immigrants out.
Right, and then you're also telling the illegal aliens like don't come over here.
Don't come
Don't do
here.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What is the question mark for?
Like what are we doing here? Like what or maybe we just don't get it, but I think like honestly, you could like I could see you putting that in the question mark
I'm gonna put it in
tier.
the question mark. I'm going for
Cuz like what
question
was the
mark.
point? What was
Yeah,
the
what's the
point, right?
point of it? It's just restating what we already know.
Yeah. That's fair. That's a totally fair point.
Yeah. Going for the question mark.
All right. So now we are going on to restoring names that honor American greatness. I'm
Oh,
guessing that this is
and
him
and
renaming a bunch of
feel free to put in the chat if we completely missed that.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Purpose and policy.
And if you disagree, I want to know. Just tell us why.
All right. So the, restoring names that honor American greatness. All right. Um, it is the national interest to promote the extraordinary heritage of our nation and ensure future generations of American citizens celebrate the legacy of our American heroes. Naming our founding treasury, national treasures, breathtaking natural wonders, and historic works of art. Within 7 days of this order, okay, within
What?
7 days of this order, appointments to the U.S. Board on Geographic Names. Okay, all right. They're creating a new board for this. That's interesting.
Just
Secretary of Interior.
for names
Yeah, for names. Yeah,
of geographical
but small
things.
government, right? Small government. All
Yeah,
right.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why isn't
So
Doge stepping in here?
right. Exactly. Uh all right. So the Secretary of the Interior shall review and consider additional appointments to the board to assist in fulfilling all aspects of this order, subject to all applicable laws. So who's Trump's Secretary of the Interior?
Good question. What is this called? I'm looking
Uh
at these presidential actions. I can't find it.
restoring the names that honor America or something like that.
Is there a way? Oh, no, that's not it.
Oh, Doug Burgum. Okay, Doug Burgum is going to be in charge of this.
It's the second one on page 2.
Oh, okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Respect to all the applications name. Sports. Uh, so they're still. So they're still going to, where congressional action is required to establish a renaming and public law following board approval on renaming. The board shall provide guidance to all relevant federal agencies. Da 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 da. Okay. So what was formerly is this renaming Mount Denali? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Mount McKinley.
Yeah, Mount Denali in Alaska to Mount McKinley.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's down here.
Yeah, I'm reading that.
They're keeping the national park, Denali National Park, though, and preserve.
Okay.
Changing just the mountain.
Okay. So in reality, a nothing burger for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. Then there's the next one. The Gulf of America. All right. Well, I'm not even going to entertain that with speaking time because what are we doing? The Secretary of the
So
Interior may.
that's crazy.
Yeah, we're creating a committee to rename places now. So,
F
or
a question mark.
because it's not impactful. Like
It's
it's not
not.
impactful.
It's just not.
Yeah.
And
I mean
we're gonna be the only country that calls it the
that
Gulf of
that
America.
acknowledges it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
acknowledges it as such. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see nothing in this order should respect additional action secretary solicit public information.
I also don't know why you need a whole committee to do this.
Correct, and I'm also curious that I knew it was one of the things that he ran on was restoring the name of a bunch of military bases from, like establishing their Confederate names and bringing them back. That is not in this, so I'll be curious to see if that comes back. But I mean, this is
I mean,
a
they're gonna be
D
a whole
for
committee.
me,
They're gonna talk about it, I'm sure.
right? Well, and that's the thing is it going to come
What
back? Who knows? I mean,
is
this is a
that?
D for me because it's just not that impactful. I mean, sure, maybe if you're um, a portion of the Native American population, and obviously Denali has significant impact to you culturally. It's obviously detrimental to you, but renaming it the Gulf of America, there's just no impact here. I mean, this is kind of one of those like it's there's no impact to this at all, and it's just short-sighted. So that's why I'm putting it at D.
We did have
Slap
someone in
mine.
the chat say this is likely referring to DoD renaming of military bases, federal managed parks and properties as well as trade corridors, a response to previous renaming of the same by the prior 3 administrations.
Right. And at this point, can we just stop? Like, what is this doing? Like, in reality, like what? I don't know. I just don't know what we're doing anymore. You know what I mean? Like, why do we just keep renaming? Are we really that petty? I mean, I guess we are, but
It's just a waste. To me, it's a waste of resources.
it's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. I mean, you figure you're probably going to pay each and every one of those people over $100,000 a year just to
Yeah,
sit on that committee.
just to sit around a table and be like, "Hey, let's rename this to this."
Yeah. All right.
I don't
So
know.
on to the next. All right. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and especially designated global terrorists. Okay. Um. So this. Yeah. Let's see here. Order creates a process which certain international cartels and other organizations will be designated as forced terrorist organizations. International cartels constitute a national security threat. Um, yep. Infiltration into foreign governments across the Western Hemisphere. Cartels and other transition.
I don't hate this one.
No, I don't. I don't hate this one at all either. Honestly, I think the cartels are large enough and powerful enough that they should have this designation. My
They definitely
only
have
caveat,
influence.
yeah, and my only caveat is that I'm hoping that this isn't for him to try and find some way to circumnavigate, Mexico's
Oh, like
authority.
right.
Um, and I'm gonna assume again, I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt when I can, as best I can. Um, yeah, I would say, oh,
Which part are you at?
I'm at section, I'm at section 3, subsection B. I don't like that at all. Yeah, because this is where he brings up the Alien Enemies Act, which is really the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, which authorizes the presidents to deport or imprison suspected enemies during wartime. Don't like that at all. Um, yeah, oof, God, I was going to give it a B
Wait, 3.
or an A. Actually, I was going to give it an A until I read that, but section 3, subsection B. Within 14 days of this order, the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security shall take all appropriate action in consultation with the Secretary of State to make operational preparations regarding the implementation of any decision I make to invoke the Alien Enemies Act 50 USC 21 et sec. In relation to the existence of any qualifying invasion, predatory incursion against the territory of the United States by a qualifying actor, and to
Ugh.
prepare such facilities as needed to expedite the removal of those who may be designated under this order. So basically, it's like if if you suspect that this person is a part of a cartel, whether they are or not, you can pretty much deport them and remove them immediately.
Is that what it's saying? Removal, or is it removing them to a facility?
Well, that's the thing is you're going to take them
Removing
to the
them from
facility to
society.
well,
Yeah.
you're going to take them to the facility and then you're just going to get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean the Alien Enemies Act specifically allows the president to detain, relocate, or deport non-citizens from a country considered an enemy of the United States during wartime. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's from NPR by the way, it's just in case anybody where I
Okay.
read that from. Um, but it it's just I don't like that at all. Um,
I
I
think
like the first part of it. I think that
yeah,
it's a good thing to label these groups as terrorist organizations because I do think
I
that they
agree.
are powerful and strong enough to be warranted as such. But I can't give it anything higher than a C. Um, I'm
Yeah, I was
yeah.
thinking C
Remember,
too.
wartimes does not include the emergency policing powers permitted under the Constitution.
See,
US Code.
I don't think I don't think what the words say is all that terrible. I think it's how he could use it.
Right. And also, Epic Geek. So if I'm remember that war times does not include emergency policing powers permitted under the Constitution, the U.S. Code by executive branch rather by a declaration. So, I would agree with that, but we've circumnavigated Congress plenty of times when it comes to air quotes like war declarations. So unless I'm misreading that, we found ways to get around that and getting around those war declarations. So that's my only
And
that's my only
then
yeah.
they'll do it again to enact whatever they want to. Do whatever
Yeah,
they want to.
like if just for the record, if I can put it this way, if that Alien Enemies Act section was not in this, I would have given it an A. I just want to point that out. If it was just the Alien Enemies Act, I would have given it an F, 100%. So that's, I mean, I'm literally trying to split it down the middle here because
Split it down the middle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jake, what'd you rate it?
A C.
A C. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna
Uh,
put it. I was just gonna put it at B. I almost want to put it in D tier because of that. Just because I don't know. Just
I
because
I
I'm
think
feeling the
it's
D. That freaks me out a little bit.
yeah, I would agree. I mean, and that's the thing is like I I'm splitting it because again, if you're just going off the Aliens Act, it's an F. If you're going off of declaring them, you know, foreign terrorist organizations, it's an A. I think that's something that needs to be done because it
Yeah.
could potentially get the world more involved in finding a way to solve this problem. Because the United States, regardless of our flaws, we do have a ton of pull in the world writ large. So, all right. So next, we've got reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. Um, so they no longer focus on merit practice. So this is like the same, like this is like DEI 3 here that they're doing. But there does seem to be some sustenance here. So, Section 2 Federal Hiring Plan. Within 120 days of this order, the Assistant of the President for Domestic Policy, in consultation with the Director of this Office of Management and Budget, so on and so forth, DOGE, shall develop and send to agency heads a federal hiring plan that brings to the federal workforce only high skilled Americans dedicated to the furtherance of American ideals, values, and interests. Okay. Federal hiring plan shall prioritize recruitment of individuals committed to improving the efficacy of the federal government, passionate about the ideals of our public. So prevent the hiring base sex, prevent the hiring of individuals who are unwilling to defend. Yeah, yikes! Don't like that. I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. We want people to, obviously be loyal to the government, but to faithfully prevent the hiring of individuals based on their race, sex, or religion, and prevent the hiring of individuals who are unwilling to defend the Constitution or faithfully serve the executive branch. I agree that you should be willing to defend the Constitution.
Yeah, but they're making
That you
it
should,
sound like if you don't
if you
share
don't,
the
if you
same
don't,
views
same,
as
yeah,
me,
then you're not going to get hired.
then you're not getting hired. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't
Um.
like that.
Nope. Implement to the greatest extent possible technical and alternative assessments as required by the Chance to Compete Act of 2024. Decrease government-wide time to hire to under 80 days. I agree there that it shouldn't take more than 80 days to hire someone. Um, improve communication, regular updates of progress of applications. I totally agree.
I agree
Integrate
with
modern
that.
technologies to support the recruitment and selection process. Um, I could see
Well,
this one being a little bit of a great area because,
modern
like,
technologies don't they already filter through just using bots anyway?
right. But I think that that's what I'm saying. Like, using technologies to maybe figure out a little bit more about you and kind of your political leanings prior to hiring you.
Oh, so
Um,
okay, I see. So
that's
it's
that's how I'm interpreting it. I could be wrong, but
okay.
ensure department and agency leadership or their designees are active participants in implementing the new process throughout the hiring process. I mean, it just seems like it's going to interfere with number 4. Number 7 is going to interfere with number, but I digress. Uh, federal hiring plan shall include the specific agency plans to improve communications. Okay. best practices of human resources. Doge, accountability and reporting. Da, da, da. So, uh, I'm giving this one.
I already have my ranking.
I'm giving this one a.
I'm going F.
Going F. I'm going
Yes.
D. Mostly because I think that this is going to be pretty impactful. And I don't think it's like that good. I think there's some good, very like some small good wins in there. So I can't give it an F, but I agree. Like it's on the
Are-
bad scale. I mean,
But are they wins or are they just okay? It's not as bad as the rest of it.
well, you got to take it as a whole picture. I mean, I'm kind of trying to take it as like so the way I'm kind of doing it in my head, and you're allowed to do it your own way,
Yeah.
100%. Like I'm trying to like tally up points, and it's like if I
Okay.
can't find anything redeeming about it at all, I'm giving it an F. If I can
Oh,
find like
okay.
maybe one or two things that are redeeming, I'm tearing it up. You know what I mean?
See, I'm looking at it more like okay, the good doesn't outweigh the bad.
That's fine, because I agree the good does not outweigh the bad in this case, and I completely agree with that. Um, All right, so on to the next. Only 5 more pages to go, Lamau. We're not getting through all these
Oh
tonight.
no, we might get through like
Yeah, like maybe like 2 pages, 3 pages, so a third of. Um,
yeah,
I mean, we could just start rapid firing these.
yeah,
But we kind of want to we kind of want to have integrity on it. We don't just want to just throw around stuff.
yeah.
Willy. Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and uh, preferencing. Dude, can we just start skipping every single DEI one? It's the same shit. It's a D or an F. Like, why are we doing this? Like,
Yeah, it's gonna
are
be
are,
a
are they
D or an
are
F.
they
Yeah,
are they that obsessed about it? I will do that. I will start skipping every single DEI one because it's arguably starting to piss me off.
that's fine.
Because
I don't want to. I don't want to sit here and talk about the DEI ones forever.
yeah, defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. F. Dumb. Stupid.
Wait a minute. Is it talking about like sports?
This is male and female. This is where they're saying that there's only male and female genders.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then, yeah.
Who
I'm done.
stop. Just no.
Yep.
F.
F.
Um, establishing and implementing the president's Department of Government Efficiency. This is establishing Doge. Now, I'll be quite honest with you. If this wasn't a meme, this would actually be something that I think the government should do. I
Mhm.
do think that the government has gotten wasteful, and I do think that they need to find ways to ring in the spending. Um, but that I digress.
It's
Modernizing federal
called Doge,
technology.
and the chair is Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Vivek Ramaswamy was also a portion of that. To be fair, the
Oh,
job.
true.
So to be fair, the job is the chief executive. The job of the chief executive is to lead the federal workforce in policy and execution of the duties of the executive branch. Faithfully in my mind can also speak to one's adherence of that. Well, yes, I mean you are supposed to lead the federal workforce, epic geek, but um, you don't have to. You know, you don't have to basically think that everything's DEI one way or the other, and basically say it's my way or the highway. Being a leader doesn't mean you get to say that everything has to be my way all the time. I mean, you get to lead the executive branch. You get to lead the federal workforce. You don't get to 100% be an authoritative
Control.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Leadership is different from controlling.
Correct. Um, but yeah, so it looks like shall be USDS administrator. Okay. Um, establish the Doge team at least 4 employees, special government employees. Um, I'm gonna rate this one like a C. I think it's pretty down the middle. Like there's really nothing much to it. I mean, it's basically just saying like we're establishing this committee. It's not really giving them the ability to do anything. Like,
I
it's
think
basically you just
in the right hands it would be a decent.
yeah, because again, I think that the Department of Government Efficiency, I would agree. I think the
But
government does need to be more efficient.
my thought is if you look at it with
What was it in reference to, Epic Geek? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Sorry, it's just tough to understand what you mean reading through text. So feel
well,
free to explain.
because there's also a delay too. So
Oh, true. But what do you think, Jake?
um, I I think that with Doge, I think say if I'm looking at it from the standpoint of someone other than Musk was in it, and they
Hmm.
had a different idea about this per se geographical naming committee. Would that would that just get them canned because the other executive order, if you don't agree with me, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, there is
You
a
see what
lot
I'm
of
trying to
like,
say? There's like,
yes, there's an order that basically says if you don't agree with what I say, I'm going to fire you. And then if you're the head of Doge and says I don't agree with you creating that committee, I'm gonna fire you.
yeah,
Yeah. And all good, Epic Geek. Yeah, I totally understand that there's a delay in the character limits, but yeah, feel free to parse it out into as many messages as you need. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it at C because I think there's potential for it to be good, but right now it's kind of a nothing.
see,
We'll
I
see
was
kind of
thinking
how it shakes
C
out.
two. It's just hard to know. It's just hard to know.
Right,
I could also put it down to the question, like what's going on?
right. All right. So America First policy directive to the Secretary of State. Um, shall champion core American interests and always put America and American citizens first. Um, wow. Okay. The and operations in line with America. So I mean, this is a question mark for me because this is basically saying that the United States is going to do things in the United States' best interest, um, which I feel like it
Don't we
tries to
do
do
that
most of the
anyway?
time. At
Yeah,
least they try to do most of the time.
yeah.
Um, and then, as soon as practicable, the Secretary of State shall issue guidance bringing the Department of State's policies, programs, and so on in line with American First policy. Which, uh, okay, we don't know what that is by this executive order. Nor it says as soon as practicable. Oh my gosh, practicable,
Practicable.
practicable. Not practical, practicable. So as soon as practicable? Yeah, interesting. Okay. But yeah, that's a question mark for me. Like I think that's my first question mark tonight because it's just like what like there's no sustenance to this order. It doesn't say they're doing anything. Doesn't say that anybody's giving anybody authority. It just seems like posturing. So is that your ranking too?
I don't think it. I don't think it's impactful.
Right. That's why I left it as a question mark. Like and it's not worthy of being a C because it's something that we already do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like,
See
why
that?
is it even here? Like, why did you have to write that page of text?
Yeah, just slap it in the question mark.
Right.
I was thinking F because it's just a waste of words, but
Yeah. Well, but that's the
but
thing is that if
also
it's a
it's like
waste of
what's
words,
going
it's not
on?
bad. If it's a
Yeah, it's
waste of
not
words,
bad.
they signed a piece of paper to sign a piece of paper. Like,
They're
what the
just
hell?
doing this. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right.
I ranked the first one in the question mark, so I'll put that
So
one down then.
okay. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. Okay. As a policy of the United States to protect its citizens from aliens who intend to commit terrorist
All right, my
attacks,
thought
threaten
with
our.
this one going off the title alone.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah,
here for that.
I agreed. But now, what's in the fine print?
Now within the fine text, yeah.
Yeah. They must be vigilant during visa issuance process to ensure that aliens approved in the United States do not intend to harm against our interest. Okay, I agree. More importantly, the United States must identify them before their admission to the United States. Okay, it's fair. The United States should ensure that admitted aliens and otherwise already present. Ross, how that? Uh, mm,
Dude, how do
see,
you
see, we were doing so well, and th- right
So
here, the
who is
second
it up
this
for
is
to yeah, who is it up for to decide that they bear no hostile attitudes towards citizens, culture, government institutions? Is it up to
Right.
like that other executive order?
Well, and that's the thing too is that you're allowed to.
Yeah,
You're allowed to have a now we need to be clear about what a hostile attitude is. If you
right,
are being hostile in a physical way like wanting to do harm, sure, absolutely. But having
right.
a hostile attitude just means that I'm angry at you. I'm frustrated with you. That could be construed as a hostile attitude. So I think that the
Yeah.
wording on this is just very troubling because if you're like I know somebody, I'm not going to mention where they're from or who they are, but they are from another country. They have come to the United States. They have a visa and they are not super thrilled with the United States. They're happy to be here, don't get me wrong, but you should still be allowed to criticize the government in which you're planning on moving to and immigrating into.
And if you're even if yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
You also should be allowed to do it if you were born here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely. If you're born here, but that's the thing is that even if you're a citizen visiting, you can still say the state of I'm just throwing out a random state. Sorry if you're ever from there and watching this. The state of Massachusetts. Let's just say you hate the government of the state of Massachusetts, then you immigrated over from Germany. Actually, you haven't completed the process yet, but you've got your visa, and you say, "Man, the mayor of or the governor of Massachusetts is a real asshat." Like, you're gonna get deported for that?
Yeah,
Like,
right. Yeah. I
are
mean,
we serious? Are we serious?
yeah.
'Cause, like,
Come on.
if it said does not or and, already present in the United States does not bear a physical hostile attitude toward like, something that implies that they're going to commit harm to someone. Because I'm critical of the government. I was critical of the government when Joe Biden was president. I'm gonna be critical of the government when Donald Trump was president. Well,
I mean, in
like
some way, you have to be critical of the government, regardless of who is in office.
right, because how else are you going to improve on anything if you're not critical of something?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
Like,
I yeah,
there's never going to be that perfect president. It's never going to happen.
correct. That
And,
is absolutely true.
and I think the way I'm reading this stuff is they want they want that perfect president.
Mhm.
And if you disagree with it, you're done. So
Okay, within 60 days of this order, the Secretary of State, Attorney General, and Secretary of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence shall jointly submit to the President through the Assistant of the President of Homeland Security a report identifying countries around the world for which vetting and screening information is so deficient as to warrant a partial or full suspension of the admission. So this is okay. So this is back to remember the Muslim ban that Trump did. This is the same thing. You know, they're going to get a report saying which countries are we going to do a full suspension of the nationals from those countries pursuant to this order. Then they're going to identify how many people have entered since the day that Biden took office. Um, and then they're going to look into deporting those individuals. This is an F. This is absolutely an F. This is nuts. Like,
be protecting the
like
United States still.
because yeah, this is the same. This is the
You
same
read
thing.
faster than me.
Yeah, sorry.
It's
But no,
okay.
this is because you're telling me that we're going to go back to 2020 and we're going to find every single individual who entered from these problem countries and we're going to have to identify them, find them and then determine whether or not we're going to remove them based upon whether or not they potentially have a hostile attitude towards the United States. I just I just I just don't uh good luck. Good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Um
See, I do agree that there needs to be like, and there already is there not? Correct
there
me if I'm wrong
there
about like
there's
the stringent identification
there
verification.
there is terrorist actually, you know what? I'm doing a quick Google search. Was West.
Make this a two-part episode, by the way.
Right. If only we had like a Patreon or something like that, then we could put the second half of this into something else.
On the Patreon, oh, that'd be
Yeah,
sick. Yeah.
it would be. All right, let's see. So the last uh so let's see. All right. So Donald Trump took office in January of 2021. All right. So Um, so it was committed by. So there's been one attack. Um, there's been one attack by a foreign national. Now you can argue that the last attack, the one that happened in New Orleans, was by an individual who sympathized with ISIS, but he was an American citizen. There's only been one attack, at least during Joe Biden's presidency, that was from a foreign national, and that foreign national was from England. So I'm pretty sure the government's doing a good job at screening and preventing terrorist attacks. Um, at least, in that regard. I mean, it just this seems pointless, seems like a huge outreach, and seems like a great way for the government to reach for power that it doesn't need. So I'm giving it an F, unapologetically. What say you, Jake?
I don't know. I'm between D and F.
Okay. I just like I've maybe got one positive for it, and the rest are all very very negative. So I'm in the F territory.
Yeah, just put mine in F. Put mine in F.
Okay.
If I'm
Uh,
going off of weighting it as not a whole lot good versus bad, there's more. There's way more bad. I don't think there's much good at all. But let's go F.
okay. There's a typo in this next one. Unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. If you notice in section 2, there's an underscore after the period in policy. So fun fact, they couldn't even fact check or they couldn't even look for typos.
There's one
And I
after
also did it.
Alaska. They
Ask it
yeah.
too. Jesus. All right. Anyways, abundant, largely untapped natural supply of energy, mineral timber, and so on and so forth.
How,
Um,
how does it? How would this do anything for national security for generations to come? What
um,
what
where
impact?
does it say that?
State of, by developing it's in the section 1 blurb there.
Okay.
By developing these
Yep.
resources to the fullest extent possible, we can help deliver price relief for Americans. Oh no, I skipped over it. Unlocking this bounty of natural wealth will raise the prosperity of our citizens while helping to enhance our nation's economic and national security for generations.
So theoretically, what I'm going off of here is that he is saying that if we tap into Alaska's resources, we're going to be able to be more energy independent and be less reliant on foreign adversaries for energy.
Yeah, I
I
think,
see.
and also
Okay.
that kind of
Yeah.
the last sentence there, I think, elaborates on that a little
Uh,
more.
Where it
weaponizing
gets.
energy, yeah, weaponizing
Oh,
energy
okay. Yeah.
supplies.
Okay. I
You just,
see.
yeah,
I see. Yep. I
yeah.
didn't read that far
Uh,
ahead.
even though the United States is one of the most energy independent nations on the planet, but I
Mhm.
digress. Um, so fully
Is
avail
this
itself to. Oh, go ahead.
is this the drill baby drill thing?
This is probably part of it. Yeah.
Yep. Or part of it. Yeah.
Expedite permitting and leasing of energy and natural resource projects efficiently and effectively maximize the development and production of the natural resources of federal and state lands in Alaska. Um, prioritize the development of LNG potential, including the sale and transportation of Alaskan LNG to other states. Um, I don't think this is necessary because our natural gas is some of the cheapest on the planet, and I mean it's
Oh yeah, that's you talked about that in the previous
yeah.
episode. You should
I mean,
go back and
so
look at that.
if you want to bankrupt LNG producers in the contiguous, go right ahead. I mean, okay. Um, heads of all departments and Secretary of the Army shall offer yes. Okay. Um, rescind, revoke, revise, amend, defer, grant exemptions from any and all regulations, orders, guidance, other similar agencies that are inconsistent with the policy set forth in Section 2 of this order. No, yeah, so literally everything within Biden's presidency. Um, okay, giving due consideration to the economic and national security benefits associated with such development. Um, all necessary pipelines. Yeah, okay, if you're just going to declare all of them necessary. In addition to the actions outstanding. Law for authority. See, look, and the thing is here, like, withdrawal section Secretarial Order 1301 dated June 1st, 2021, comprehensive analysis and temporary halt on all activities in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Why are we drilling in a wildlife national refuge? Like, why? What's the point? What's the point? We've got plenty of oil in this country and we don't need to do that. If you're going to do it, don't just jump and do it automatically. We're saying the cancellation of any leases in the Arctic National. I mean, again, why are we doing this in a wildlife refuge? Our oil is not that expensive comparatively to the rest of the planet. Um, this gets an F from me. There's nothing here. I mean, because even if you do start drilling more, like I said, you're going to bankrupt the LNG producers in the contiguous, and then you're going to bankrupt the oil producers if you start drilling oil in Alaska, because you have to still have them make a profit on the barrel of oil in which they are selling. And if you drill, baby, drill, sure, you might lower gas prices, but you're also going to bankrupt your entire national production of oil. So go right ahead. F. Until I'm getting
How many
annoyed.
jobs would this create?
Until I'm getting
How
annoyed.
many jobs would this create?
Then that's now that's a fair point. That it would create a lot of jobs initially when you're developing the pipelines and things of that nature. But think of the second half that I just said. You're going to bankrupt multiple businesses by driving the price so low. And then that's the problem, Jake, is that then you bankrupt those
Yeah.
businesses and nobody can take it up in time. And next thing you know, you've built all this infrastructure, you can't pump the oil anymore, and then the price skyrockets. It's just short-sighted. It's supply and demand, baby.
And for what it's worth, most
Well,
of the jobs that this creates anyway are
Hmm.
contract short-term jobs. So once the
Yep.
pipeline is done anyway,
It's
then
good.
bonk, you're
if
done.
they're
Bye.
done, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're
F it.
on F it, he says. Um, protecting the American people against invasion. All right. So,
Okay,
uh,
all right. Go back go back for a second.
to
I
the
don't
to the Alaska one.
Yeah, I'm between D and F
Okay.
simply because what you're saying is I'm just going based off the words. What you're saying is this could happen. What could happen? Or do you know for a fact it will happen?
Well, so when you read this, I mean, they are withdrawing from active orders, like so section 3 subsection uh BI. Withdrawal Secretarial Order 3401 dated June 1st, 2021, comprehensive analysis and temporary all activities in the Arctic Wildlife National Refuge relating to the coastal plain oil and gas leasing program. So they are actively withdrawing out of that as soon as that's done. And especially and additionally in section 3 subsection I, rescind, revoke, revise, amend, defer, or grant exemptions from any and all regulations, orders, guidance documents, policies, and any other similar agency actions. Basically saying from January 20th of 2021 to January 20th of 2025. So they're doing this.
Okay, this is happening.
Yes, they are doing it.
I don't love the environmental impact.
Same. I just think it's pointless.
I do too. I think that part is I think it's yeah. I'm still put mine in D. I'm a D for now.
Okay.
I got to think about this one.
Um,
We can probably get what one more. You think?
one more. Yeah. And then we'll start wrapping it after that. Man, we did not make it far at all. I didn't think this is. I mean, this is good conversation, but I didn't think that this is going to take it this long for us to get through these.
And I really shouldn't be thinking about it. It's between a D and an F. It's not like it's a crazy jump. I just don't. Besides the environmental part of it,
Mhm.
I don't know if it's that. I don't think
I,
it's. Besides, it gets rid of these like it bankrupts oil companies.
but like, so
But we
think
should
of
be.
it.
But shouldn't we be switching away from oil anyway?
Yes, we should be, but and maybe that's the hidden benefit of it all is we bankrupt all the oil companies and then we have to switch to more renewable energy. Um, but
I
I'd
don't know.
rather
That's just kind of where my brain goes with it.
yeah, but I'd rather not cost hundreds of thousands of Americans jobs.
I I agree.
Begins in the oil industry. Um, so yeah, about a million Americans work in the oil and gas industry. And I think if
Oh
this
wow, that's a
this
lot. Okay.
happens, you could probably lose about a quarter to half of them if it goes south.
Yeah. That's
Um,
it's if it goes south. It's
yeah,
likely that it'll go south.
yeah, it's most like I would say it's likely. I mean, but I can't guarantee that
You
it
can't
would.
guarantee it. That's kind of where I'm like, things could happen or things could
Right,
not happen.
right. They are repealing a lot of the stuff, but nothing has happened yet. And that's
That's
how a
kind of
lot of this is. That's how a lot of
yeah.
this is.
Mhm.
A lot of this is opinion, subjective based, and hypotheticals.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so protecting the American people against invasion. So policy. It is the policy of the United States to faithfully execute the immigration laws. Um, total and efficient enforcement of those laws, including incentives and detention capabilities. Faithful execution of immigration laws. Um, uh, so this one he's actually. Oh, okay. So he's revoking. One, two, three, four. Uh, okay. So he's revoking 4 executive orders. Revision of civil immigration enforcement policies and priorities. Um, creating a comprehensive regional framework to address the causes of migration, to manage migration throughout Central America, and to provide safe and orderly processing of asylum seekers at the United States border. He's repealing that. He's also repealing establishment of interagency task force on the reunification of families. And he's also getting rid of restoring faith in our legal immigration systems and strengthening integration and inclusion efforts for new Americans. So he's repealed all 4 of those. Um, Executive departments and agencies take all appropriate actions to promptly revoke all memoranda, guidance, and other policy based on the executive orders revoked in Section 3A of this order, and shall employ all lawful means to ensure the faithful execution of the immigration laws of the United States against all inadmissible and removable aliens. Um, so make it all. Okay. Coordination with the Secretary. So the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland take all appropriate action to jointly establish Homeland Security task forces in all states nationwide. That's spooky.
Wait, where do you see that?
That's section
Show
6,
section.
right at the yeah.
Oh, I see.
Uh, that's all federal. The objective of each HS
This
task
is gonna
force.
sound stupid, but I thought there was already Homeland Security task forces in
I
majority of
kind of
states.
I kind of did too. Um, but let's see here. Objective of each is in the presence of criminal cartels, foreign gangs, and transnational criminal organizations throughout the United States. I agree. And dismantle cross-border human trafficking, smuggling, trafficking networks, and the scourge of human trafficking. Yep, I would agree. Those are all good. Um,
I'm all for a good task force though. I love some task forces.
is that your nickname in high school? Task Force?
No, dude.
Oh, okay.
I was the hall monitor task force.
The
No,
Attorney General.
dude.
Okay. Identification. The second shall take all appropriation to
No,
immediately announce and publicize.
Cole, to answer your question, no. I mean,
Yeah,
kind
you
of.
might be able to answer that better, but
It's not really like a SWAT team is not like a government agency.
yeah, SWAT teams are usually part of the county government, like the county sheriff's department.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can
Well, it's
have them on
government, but
any.
it's not federal government.
It's not federal. Yeah.
Yeah. Essentially SWAT teams do protect. They they're basically a task force,
Mhm.
but more county level. Or departmental. It really just depends, but it's more local.
Yikes. Okay, so yeah, so in section 10 they go through creating detention facilities. Secretary of Homeland Security shall promptly take all actions and appropriate actions and allocate all legally available resources to establish contracts to construct, operate, control, or use facilities to detain removable aliens.
And didn't we already go through this?
No, this is kind of one of those like we're gonna find you, we're gonna get you, we're gonna put you in a holding cell, and like we're gonna send you back. So
So
um,
they're actively going to.
that's section 10 if you want to read it.
Yeah, let me take a look.
Uh, this is a long one.
See, all right. My thought with this: how are you going to split your resources between defending the southern border like they want, and going out and detaining all the illegal aliens
Uh,
or the illegal
Well,
immigrants?
correct, Epic Geek. I know that they're part of, they can be part of a township PD. Like you just have to
Yeah,
do the research
that's
on
what I was
SWAT.
kind of get. That's what I was kind of getting at. Epic Geek.
Correct. It's just you're going to find them more at a county level than you are for townships. So, are you talking about? I see your last statement there. Some of the top SWAT teams in the country. Like, are they SWAT teams or are they, you know, like are they different types of special response unit? I mean, yes, the FBI can have SWAT teams, obviously, but like, yeah, see, that's the thing. Like that's a different thing. Those are called. Like you're saying BORTAC, HRT, and HSI. Like we're just talking about like a SWAT team that you'd get at the county level, not like some hyper
Oh,
specialized.
I mean, I guess Cole's question is kind of vague. I could see where that went. Yeah, there are. I mean, federal agencies have SWAT their SWAT teams too.
Right, exactly. Let's see here.
I just took that as Cole asking about like SWAT teams, meaning like
Yeah, to me, it's like once
county
you're
sheriff office,
into those, you're
township
more than
PD, or
just kind of
city.
a
Yeah.
SWAT team at that point. I think it
Right,
kind
that's
of really
kind of what I
depends on
was
your
thinking.
definition of what a SWAT team is.
Right. So, um, because like yeah, Amtrak has one. Well, yes, because there's more cities than there are counties. Epic Geek. We understand that. It's just we're saying that there's probably an awful lot more cities than counties, and you know, of course, cities are going to have the budget and the resources for SWAT teams and personnel, but there are also vast quantities that don't. I mean, you're more counties per capita are going to have SWAT teams. Like if you're I'm just throwing out a number here, but like let's just say 80% of all counties in the United States have a SWAT team, and only 36% of all cities do. Well, yeah, like there's still going to be more cities than counties, but the ratio is off. So that's kind of what we were going off. more than anything. I mean, again, we could pull up the numbers in a
I mean, I
later episode. Okay, right. I like
we're agreeing. Yeah, we
we
agree.
we agree that those are SWAT teams. It's just we're not lumping them into the same category as a county or a city organization. Like those are federal special response units that, yes, they're by definition SWAT teams, but they are definitely like a step above compared to something like even what you said, some of the top SWAT teams in the country are run at the federal level. We agree. Like we're not arguing that at all. All right. Uh
We're at time.
yeah, we are at time. Uh,
We're a little bit
um
past time.
yeah. I mean, this last one of course was extremely long. And we can hold off. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it.
I haven't even looked at it yet.
But I mean, it's the one that we were looking at, protecting the American people against invasion. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, but we can probably hold off on that
That's
because
fine.
I think the next one that goes into the tariffs. But I mean, this was tough. I will say that I'm glad that we kind of viewed these without doing a ton of like research into it off the bat to give our 2 cents pretty
Right.
raw. Um, and the thing is that
I
yes, a
think
lot of
there's a
this
lot
is
of
speculative.
go ahead. There's also a lot of verbiage that could be taken one way or another.
Right.
And it's all I mean, we haven't seen anything happen yet.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
this
well, we have seen some things happen, like we said at the opening. There are federal employees who were put
oh
on paid
yeah,
leave
yeah.
today.
Yes, that's
Like so,
true. Today.
yeah, so there are things that are happening.
They're going to
Uh,
start we're going to start seeing more, whether that's the good and the bad. We could be completely wrong about some of our ratings.
yeah,
Honestly, I hope I am wrong.
correct. Yeah, hopefully, and that's the thing is, and I even said this with when Trump was president the first time. I don't want to see any president fail ever,
No, absolutely
because
not.
if the president fails, the country fails. So I don't wish ill on the president. I might not agree with the majority of his policies, but that doesn't mean
But
that
what
I
president
want
do
to
you
see him.
do?
Right. Yeah, there was plenty of Biden's policies that I didn't agree with, but yet here we are.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I feel like our response to Ukraine was very lackluster, and we could have done more without also escalating the war. I feel like Biden could have done more on reforming the tax code, like he kind of ran on back when he ran during COVID. I feel like he could have had a better fiscal response to COVID. I felt like he could have injected less stimulus into the economy because the economy was already booming, keeping interest rates. So I mean, I can go on and on. So like, we're not just I'm not just here to bash Trump. I'm trying to think critically about you know, these orders and the impact that they could have, which could be substantial or could be a little bit less.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you won't know until they start happening and you start seeing the things he's trying to implement.
Right.
You, yeah. I mean, we just have to wait,
Wait and see.
wait and see.
Um. Yeah. I mean, Zachary, anything you kind of want to wrap us up with? Do you have any little fun little tidbit that you wanted to go through this time? I know we're a little over time, but
No, I don't have anything for this week. I did not figure we would have time for that.
need a filler at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, um, Cole, you know where to reach us. And Epic Geek, thank you for the discussion. We're happy to have you here, so feel free to stick around, come back, and watch some more. We don't do episodes like this typically every week. This is kind of a flash in the pan. We might actually revisit this at some point. I think we'll probably do a normal episode next week. But if we want to
Okay.
come back to some
Yeah.
of these
Yeah.
and rank these, but we can kind of keep this on hold, just because this is a long form episode with a lot of reading. So
And if you
like I
guys
said,
see an executive order or something you guys want us to talk about, we can do
feel
that
free.
too.
Yep. Um, but yeah, outside of that, uh, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Again, this is a more of an opinionated episode. So if you didn't like that, you can feel free to let us know, and we can switch back to doing our normal episode where we just cover the straight up news. But outside of that, we greatly appreciate your time, and we wish you a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody, and take care.
Stay warm.